What is up to the Suki gang and what is up to the Suki squad? I'm back with another video, and today we are going to be doing something different. I haven't done something like this before. I am going to be doing a story time, and it's going to be about the time that my baby sister was born. About the time I found out that she was born. So let's get straight on into the video. Okay, so it was December 2nd, and I am at my stepfather's family's house, and I'm playing Fortnite with his nieces and his nephews, which are my cousins-in-law. We are playing Fortnite, and I see a call from my mother. I haven't been answering because my phone was flipped upside down and I had the mic in, and so it was hard for me to hear them. For me to see that she called, right? And then I flipped my phone over to see what time it was because I couldn't, the cable box wasn't working. So I flipped my phone over to see what time it was, and I had 3 missed calls from mommy, or whatever I have her as right now. And I looked at them. I called her back, and she said that she's in the hospital and they think that my baby sister is ready to come. So at that moment I shed a couple of tears, right? And I told her good luck. I told her I love her, and if she comes I'd see her when she does. And she said that the next day they're going to induce her labor. If you guys don't know what that means that they're going to break her water. They're gonna give her the medicine to see if the baby's ready. They're gonna give her the medicine to break her water, and once the water breaks, my mom's ready to push, the baby's ready to come out and stuff. So she told me that, and I went to bed, and since my mother wasn't home, neither was my stepfather, I had to sleep with my grandmother. And yeah, and then the next day I was sitting down in class, and I called mommy before I went to class to make sure that she was okay, just to make sure that she did not give birth yet, and she didn't, sadly. And the whole day I was a little bit upset, and I was praying to God. I know BJ was praying to God because I know he did not want to be born on the same day as my baby sister. And so BJ is my cousin, by the way. So we are at Wednesday now, and I called mommy and told her good luck just in case the baby comes today. I told her I loved her and everything, and it is 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting in social studies, and then 30 minutes later, no, 29 minutes later, my aunt my stepfather's sister works in the school. She's my math teacher. She walks past the classroom and she says, Asada, come here. And I thought one of two things. 1, my baby sister was born, or 2, my mother was dead. Or 3, actually, my baby sister was dead. And 4, both of them were dead. And she came past the room and she told me that my mother had the baby, and she showed me pictures of the baby, but the baby had blood on her. The baby was 18 inches, and she weighed 4 pounds and 12 ounces. She was premature by 4 days. Premature means that she was born early, and the whole entire day I was it was a really weird moment. I would be in the middle of class and the teacher would be calling my name, and I would not hear her because I would just be too focused on my baby sister. I would be sitting down, and the next thing you know, I turned my head and I'm just sitting there like this, which means that I'm thinking about my baby sister. I'm thinking about my mother, I'm thinking about the baby and all that. And the next day I did not go to school because I went to the hospital, because at 6 in the morning that same day my mother changed rooms. I was not able to see the baby because my mother was still in the labor and delivery room, which means that if you're 16 or older you could go in there, but I wasn't, so I couldn't. And at 6 in the morning my mother called my grandmother, her mother, and said that she was switching rooms right now, and I asked my mom if I had to go to school, and she said no, you don't. And I was like, okay, I'm coming to see you right now. I mean, right now, and I'm coming to see the baby. So my grandmother went to do some errands for like 30 minutes to an hour, and she came back, and we ended up going to the hospital. And my mother was in room 529. I remember all of this from the back of my head. She was in room 529, and she was in the room, and she was holding my baby sister, and that was the first moment that I ever got to see her. And I got to see my mother. I miss my mother so much. It's not even funny. I had so many questions like, are you okay? And she told me that my mother had lost a lot of blood in the birth. So I was scared because I could have lost her. But thank God that I didn't. And my candy bag just fell. My Halloween bag. I still have candy. I picked it up later. And she told me that the baby was healthy. She could hear, she passed her hearing test and all that good stuff, and she was okay. After that, I got to hold her. My baby sister was extremely tiny. It's not even funny. She's in my room. She's in my mother's room. She's like this long. Like, this is not shoulder width apart. She's not long at all. That's not the best. It's not really great. My feet are hurting, so and my mother told me that the baby was healthy, and then the doctor came in the room, and it was like the worst timing. Like, I hated that doctor, but she took the baby for her car seat test. It's like this thing that they do nowadays. They take the baby for an hour and 30 minutes and make them sit inside of a car seat. Like, what? And then on top of that, the doctor had to start the car seat test over because since the baby was so tiny, they had to prop up the neck. And if she didn't pass that car seat test, my mother would have now been coming home. My baby sister would have been a week old in 3 days, like, coming home. Like, that's sad. But I was at the hospital until 9 o'clock, staying with my mother and the baby. And even worse, my baby sister, she had jaundice, which is I don't want to say a disease, but it's a thing that babies have. Like, right after she came from the doctors, she had a high jaundice level, and she had to sit under the lights. Jaundice is like, it makes your skin not dark enough for you to be able to be in like the places without sun. It's not safe, and she could suffer from it when she got older. So my mother chose her to get in the lights because she did not want my baby sister to have shots. They put her under the lights for 16 hours. This have been the longest, and it was like literally the worst. My baby sister was crying for 16 hours, but the best thing was that through like every 2 or 3 hours, my baby sister had to get taken out from the lights so that my mother could feed her. And I stayed there for about 7-8 hours when my baby sister was inside of the lights, and me and my grandmother went home. And I was just crying all night because I was thinking about my baby sister. Like, would she be okay, was the main question. And so after that, I went home and we ate. I called my mother. I was on the phone with my mother all day. My mother even was crying because she felt so terrible to see her baby in there crying and just sitting there. It was like a helpless moment, and she had the mask over her eyes. It was the worst. It was horrible. But then the next day I went to school, and I went to a party, and then I heard that my mother came home. And then I left the party. It wasn't really a party, it was a publishing party because one of the teachers had published a book. We came home, and I walked inside of my mother's room. I dropped everything. Usually I come in my room and hang up my stuff. No, at the door I dropped my coat, my jacket, my book bag, everything. And I seen my baby sister laying down on the bed with my mother, and that was one of the most heart-filling moments of my life. I think it was the most heart-filling moment of my life. My baby sister, she was extremely tiny, and then after that I got to hold her for the first time at home, and my grandmother-in-law, she got to hold her, and my aunt got to hold her, the one that told me that my mother had the baby, and that's the baby right there, if you guys didn't hear that. That's her, and I am so thankful for her to be alive, because my mother have lost a baby before, and that was the worst feeling of my life, because people always come up to me and tell me that, oh, Asada, you have everything, like your life is amazing, but they don't know what happened in the past. It's like, I hate it when people judge you from what they know about you. But that is all I have for you guys today. I love you guys so much, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.